y'all. We ain't playing no more games, okay? We're gonna get right into it, all right? Because this is how we do it. Now, this one here, woo! This one here is about creating a closet.
How to Create a Prayer Closet, Your War Room.
Listen.
Published by Women Living Well. For those who have read my book, you've read about my prayer closets, my war rooms. As a newlywed, I felt the need to create a prayer closet, so I turned a walk-in closet into a prayer closet.
Listen.
Matthew chapter 6 verse 6 says, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." In the closet, I put an inexpensive chair and footstool, a cheap nightstand filled with journals, pens, my Bible and hymnal, a little water fountain and CD player in the corner, along with some photos of loved ones. This was the most inviting quiet time place I've ever had. In our next home, I turned my vanity in the master bathroom into my sanctuary. With little ones tutting around, I found it hard to find a quiet moment to read my Bible and pray. The bathroom seemed to be the only place I could truly be uninterrupted. We took down the mirror, and I put up a dry erase board. Then, rather than using the drawers for makeup and accessories, I filled them with devotional books, highlighters, my Bible and planner, and set my computer on the countertop. This is where I first began blogging, from my bathroom, lol. Actually, it was my war room. I had worked hard to create an escape from the distractions of life to be alone with God. Do you have a place where you get alone to pray? Maybe you have a chair in the family room or you prefer your kitchen table. Perhaps it's your car or a bench at the park. In my college dorm, I would go to the stairwell or shower stall to get alone to pray. It's not as much about the place as it is about the prayer. At times, my prayer life has felt like a wrestling match, with distracted thinking, interruptions from kids, or worse, drifting off to sleep. 1,000 invisible enemies seem to fill the air the minute I sit down to pray. Anyone else relate? This is war, my friends. I have written about one solution to this struggle, my prayer journals. You can read about them here, but let's look at Acts 6 to 10 in the prayers of those in the early church. 48 times in the book of Acts, it says, they prayed.
Listen.
The power of the early church came through prayer. Acts chapter 6 verse 4 says, "But we will devote ourselves to prayer and to the ministry of the word." Acts chapter 6 verse 6 says, "They prayed and laid their hands on them." Acts chapter 7 verse 59 says, "And as they were stoning Stephen, he called out, 'Lord Jesus, receive my spirit.'" Acts chapter 9 verse 11 says, "And the Lord said to him, 'Rise and go to the street called Straight, and at the house of Judas look for a man of Tarsus named Saul, for behold, he is praying.'" Acts chapter 9 verse 40 says, "But Peter put them all outside, and knelt down and prayed, and turning to the body he said, 'Tabitha, arise.' And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter she sat up." Acts chapter 10 verses 1, 2 says, "At Caesarea there was a man named Cornelius, a centurion of what was known as the Italian cohort, a devout man who feared God with all his household, gave alms generously to the people, and prayed continually to God." Acts chapter 10 verse 9 says, "The next day, as they were on their journey and approaching the city, Peter went up on the housetop about the 6th hour to pray." Acts chapter 10 verse 30 says, "And Cornelius said, 4 days ago, about this hour, I was praying in my house at the 9th hour." What about now? What about you? There's no time for lukewarm Christianity. We need prayer warriors now. Prayer is a necessity. We need women willing to pray fervently for their husband, willing to pray for their children, willing to pray for their grandchildren, willing to pray for their friends' children, willing to pray for their coworkers, friends, relatives, neighborhoods, churches, communities, our sisters and brothers in Christ in the advancement of the gospel around the world. Stephen saw the heavens open and there was God in all his glory, with Jesus giving him a standing ovation. That same God is watching over you. God hears your prayers. God is able. Prayer works. It always has. It always will. Tilda Priscilla Shire. May we stop neglecting the power of prayer in our lives and become prayer warriors. Let's create prayer closets and war rooms, in our closets, bathrooms, cars, wherever you can get alone. Pray. Chime in. Will you commit today to pray harder, longer, and more than you have been praying? The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Tilda James chapter 5 verse 16. Walk with the King. Courtney.
Now listen. It speaks about, okay, the reason why this war room is so important is because we have to learn how to lay our burdens down and allow the Most High to fight for us. Okay, we're so used to wanting to fight like these in a physical, but you cannot fight a spiritual battle with physical weapons. Okay, so the Most High says, lay your burdens down. About to find it for you. Lay your burdens down. Okay, and allow the Most High to fight for us. Lay your burdens down. It's a song and lyrics by Chuck. Okay, I remember that song, but no, I'm not looking for the song. I want the Bible. Glory, glory, lay my burden down. Okay, it's in the Bible about laying your burdens down. Bible verse. I want you guys to hear this because it's very important. Like, it's very important to know this, and it's in Psalms, yes. I want you guys to know this. It is very important that we have to stop trying to fight all of these battles ourselves. The Most High told us, if you lay your burdens down, give it to Him. He will fight them for you, okay? And at the end of the day, no one can defeat Him, not even Satan. You got to remember, He gave Satan reign over the universe, over the world, or whatever, for however many years. He gave him the power to do what he's doing right now. Why? I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like this is a big old game. We're in the middle of a game, where they're trying to see who loves who the most and who. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that the power is in the word. Can't nobody tell me different. And I know this because of what I've been through. Listen, I got a testimony, baby. We're going to get to that later. I want y'all to hear this. Hold tight.
Psalm chapter 55, verse 22. Published by Bible Gateway. Matthew chapter 6, verse 25. New King James Version. Do not worry. Therefore I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 29. New King James Version. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 to 7.
Did y'all hear that? My phone died, so I wasn't able to. I'm gonna come with another part though, explaining more about this. But it's very important that you guys know that you don't have to fight these battles. You do not have to fight these battles. Your prayer will ignite the Most High to fight for you, but you have to pray in secret. You can't pray out in the open. He doesn't see that, or she doesn't see that. That's not acknowledged. It's considered to be a hypocrite because it's like you're doing it for show. But when you pray in secret, private, it's more intimate. It's more, loving. It's more caring. It's more sincere. It's just, you're gonna get that message across. It's just you and the Most High speaking. The Most High in you and the Most High outside of you. You have to know that that is so important, y'all. Y'all got to start speaking to yourselves. Listen, you ask for advice any other time when you be like, I know this, and that. Yeah, you're talking to yourself. You're asking yourself a question, and at the same time, you are answering yourself. Okay? Same thing. You're talking to your gut. You're talking to your God. Your God is your gut. That's why they always say, follow your gut. Follow your gut. All right? Follow your gut. When you get this eerie feeling in your stomach, right? When you're going in a certain direction, I always tell my children this. When you get this eerie feeling in your gut, when you're going in a certain direction, turn around and go in the opposite direction. Your gut is talking to you, telling you that this is not safe. You're walking into danger. All right? This is why they're trying to block the communications, because they know that the Most High speaks to us through certain means, right? And your gut is one of them. So I need you guys to listen, do your research. I can't make this up. It's called War Room. It's on YouTube. Now they're charging for it. Before it was free. When I found it, it was free. Okay? And that was like one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it allowed me to lay my burdens down and allow the Most High to pick them up and fight for me, okay? Because I was fighting a spiritual battle with physical weapons. I'm telling y'all, because I wasn't thinking on that level. I wasn't thinking on those terms. When you're angry, right? You don't think about. Most people don't think about praying. Most people don't think about. It's like we don't call on the Most High until we're in a situation where we're feeling trapped. Okay? And when I came across this movie, it was like, wow. When I saw literally, I know it was a movie, but still these things really happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? I believe this was a true story. Okay? And at the end was what really touched me. The woman said, I need other women to get out here and teach these women how to pray. We need prayer warriors. Okay? We need prayer warriors. See, that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us calling on to the Most High. Right? Didn't he say, call on me? Call on me. I am your what? I will come to your rescue. I'm your refuge. Okay? Don't be afraid. Listen, every tear that falls from your eyes and you allow it to hit the ground, that's like blood. It's communicating with the Most High. His children is angry. Once he hear you crying out to him and see that you're crying out and see that your tears is creating a river, yeah, baby, he will step up and fight for you. She will step up and fight for you, your mother and your father. All right? Because no matter what, listen, they work together. It's duality, it's polarity. They're trying to X her out. And that's just the bottom line. And this is why we as women go through so much in our life because of this situation. Because they know we're fighters, we're warriors. Right? Naturally, we are warriors, especially my women from Buffalo. Shout out to my Buffalo women. Okay? Because this is one reason why they say we're so masculine. Because we have been put in a situation to where as though we are not being taught. The men, first of all, are not being taught properly by their parents. Okay? That's a whole nother story. You have a large situation of men abandoning their children, right? Either through jail or death or they just don't want to be around. You know what I'm saying? So the women are left to raise these children. And then when it comes to the men and the boys, a lot of women, if they don't like the father, they don't like the child. Most of them. They don't like the father, they don't like the child. Most of them mistreat their children when they're in a situation like that and don't like you know what I'm saying? So what we have to start doing now is praying on these deadbeat dads. Say a prayer. Give it to God. I guarantee you, he will handle it. Definitely will handle it, okay? So that's what we need to start doing. Instead of getting out here trying to fight them physically, battle in court and all this child support. Listen, if they not paying, knowing they can pay, because they don't want to pay, okay? And we can't really force them. Don't get into a situation where you're begging for anything. Pray about it. Pray about it. Give it to the Most High. Lay your burdens down, baby. And I'm telling you, the Most High going to pick them up. And the Most High is going to fight for you. The Most High is going to fight for you. So I'm asking all my prayer warriors, okay? Even if you didn't know you was a prayer warrior, you about to become one, baby. Yes.